I think one of the problems is the fact that there was a time where people were told, as I said, that racism was acceptable. And that can be hard to change in the minds of people when they've been told generation after generation, this is the right way to behave. In the same way that for many years, we were told that smoking was a good thing. There was a time when even doctors would come on TV and tell you to smoke cigarettes. They'd be like, having a rough day, your wife won't shut the fuck up. That's women for you. See, it's not okay if it was in the old days, is it? Wife not shutting up, maybe give her a slap, and then I'll say it's not acceptable because it was old days. That's what I fucking said. Now you slap her in the face and you have yourself a cigarette. But now, after years of education and research, we understand that cigarettes are bad for you and smoking is not good for you. And I want us, as a society, to address racism in the same way. To understand that if you continue to pass this on to generation after generation, it will eat away at you like cigarettes do, long term. But then I started thinking, could there be a device that would facilitate this? Because you know, we're trying to quit smoking, it's hard to go cold turkey. Might be the same thing with racists and white supremacists. So I invented a device which I call a nicotine patch. And when you attach it, you can inject white supremacy into your bloodstream every half an hour. So instead of saying something out loud, you just feel superior to black people. And then we can get you designated racism areas, like in the office, so you don't be racist indoors, but you can go outside in a corner and share that space with other bigots, you know, so that you don't infect the minds and bodies of young children. And then hopefully, like with smoking, you die of an aggressive form of cancer. And that's gonna be poetic because then your lungs will be black. So that's okay. Did that seem angry to you? Well, yeah. Not angry enough. Absolutely right, sir. Because here's the thing, like, as I said, there are a lot more aspects to the emotional complex of black people than people give us credit for. But you have to understand something. Anger might be the only recourse people have left. Normally, anger is triggered by the release of your adrenaline. Because when you're a black or brown person living in this society, a lot of the time your life is fight or flight. Don't know whether you're coming or going. And no, that can be very confusing and frustrating for people. Might not want to be angry, but when you don't have the privilege of being able to rely on law enforcement or any institution to protect you, you have to remain guarded. But none of us want to be angry all the time. That shit is tiring. Even me as a comedian, I chose comedy because I didn't think people would call me angry. But when I started doing comedy, all of a sudden, I'm the angry black guy. And I never was this person until I got into comedy and saw the world on a larger scale. And I always decided to make it a point of principle that I would show different dimensions to the normal aesthetic or stereotype that you see of black people on TV, particularly straight black men. And I hope I can lead by example if I come on this stage and try and be a little bit vulnerable. And I want to do that by not just talking about stuff that pisses me off. Why don't I tell you about some of the things that make me afraid? Right, here goes. Going black, going vulnerable, going straight male. I, Dane Baptiste, your friend and favorite modest comedian, I'm scared of roller coasters. Why am I scared of roller coasters? Have you seen the staff that operate and control roller coasters? They are many things, but they are not engineers. I think if you pay attention, you will realize that most roller coasters in theme parks are operated by teenagers. And if you ever met a teenager at work or been a teenager at work, you know you don't give a fuckity fuck about your job. Which I totally understand. You are too old to enjoy a theme park on a superficial level, but when you are a teenager, you're too young to have a proper career because you don't have the experience or qualifications. So most of us end up working in leisure or hospitality or retail, and these jobs are soul destroying, sitting there at a theme park, watching everybody else have fun in the summertime. What you want to be doing is smoking cheap weed and fingering people. You can't finger people in a theme park. That's what fairgrounds are for. Have some class. Teenagers do not give a fuck. You ever seen a teenage lifeguard at a water park or a public swimming pool and seen how little of a fuck they give about your life? You can see a great white shark eating a baby. and be like, this colonial fish is eating this baby. And the teenage lifeguard would just go, hey! The other reason I hate roller coasters is because I'm the oldest male out of my generation of cousins. I love them very much, but because of that, I'm aware that if our dads aren't around, I've got to be the man of the group, and I've got to let my cousins go out together on a roller coaster, and I sit by myself next to a stranger. And you know what's scarier than sitting next to a stranger? Sitting next to a stranger who goes on roller coasters by their fucking selves. Now, the final reason I do not like roller coasters is because you know when you go on a roller coaster, you get off, you go through the gift shop, and they put your pictures up, hoping you buy some merchandise. Now, where I'm from, in South East London, if you look scared in that picture, you are the bitch of the summer. Not the day, not the week, the whole summer. And even years later, when you're trying to get your life back together from that trauma, you'll be tagged in a social media post, and somebody go, remember back in the 90s when you were being a little bitch? So I'm on this roller coaster, and the barrier comes down before it kicks off. Now, you ever been in that situation when the barrier comes down and it's tight, but not tight enough? And you're like, if we go upside down, I'll definitely die. So then you try and get some help from the technician. You're like, hey, this ain't tight enough. And he goes, hey! So then I think, let me find a responsible adult. And I said, excuse me, sir, this isn't very tight. What about yours? And he's like, you want some licorice, baby? So, the ride begins. And if you've ever been on a roller coaster, you know, they don't even sound safe at the beginning. It's like... And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm gonna die a virgin. I'm from South East London. Why would I put myself in deliberate danger? I could have done this at home. And that camera's coming up and I'm like a little bitch because my cousins are here. Then you get to the top and I'm like, oh, fuck me. Why would I do this? All right. But you know, when you're a black person, you gotta act tough all the time. So I'm stone-faced. Then the ride begins. Hoping my cousins don't see me. Kicks off. I'm like, oh shit! I don't wanna die! I don't wanna die! I don't wanna... Stupid. We've all been there.